In the quiet hum of a bustling Hong Kong terminal, a story of shifting skies unfolds. Air China's unmistakable red Phoenix logo adorns an aircraft taxiing on the tarmac, bound for London. This scene is no longer an anomaly, but the new norm as Chinese airlines carve a dominant path into Europe, filling voids left by their Western counterparts. Behind these soaring ambitions lies a tale of opportunity, politics, and economic strategy, fueled by the geopolitical winds of change. When Western airlines like Lufthansa and British Airways began pulling back on routes to China, citing the steep costs of avoiding Russian airspace, Chinese carriers saw an opening. Moscow's ban on European airlines in response to sanctions over Ukraine forced Western carriers to lengthen their routes, driving up costs and eroding competitiveness. Meanwhile, Chinese airlines, unrestricted by these bans, were poised to capitalize. David Yu, an aviation expert, summed up the shift succinctly. European carriers are just not competitive. Numbers tell the same story. In October 2024, Chinese airlines had expanded their capacity between China and Western Europe by 18% compared to pre pandemic levels. Their competitive edge wasn't just in routes, but in pricing. The ability to fly over Russia gave Chinese carriers a cost advantage, translating to ticket prices 35% lower than European rivals. In cities like London, Milan, and Madrid, Chinese carriers are now a ubiquitous presence. Passengers flock to them for affordable fares, even as European airlines cry foul, decrying an unequal competitive position. Lufthansa's recent withdrawal of its iconic Frankfurt Beijing route underscores how deeply the balance has tipped. Yet, the narrative isn't just about economics, it's political too. Beijing has been aggressive in opening its doors wider, expanding visa free policies to attract tourists and fostering stronger ties with regions like the Middle East. Flights to Saudi Arabia, for instance, have surged sevenfold since 2019. The message is clear: Chinese airlines are not just in the business of moving people. They are instruments of state strategy, bridging economic and political interests. But while their planes soar, their financial performance has struggled to take off. Despite dominating routes and slashing prices, China's big three carriers, Air China, China Eastern, and China Southern, are collectively swimming in losses. They reported a combined deficit of $1.8 billion in 2023, with forecasts predicting further losses in 2024. Analysts cite slowing domestic consumption, fierce competition from budget carriers, and a sluggish recovery in key markets like North America as primary culprits. Still, the Chinese government's unwavering support cushions the turbulence. These state owned giants enjoy subsidies, credit facilities, and a mandate to sustain connectivity at any cost. Aviation, after all, is seen as a linchpin of China's economic engine, a vision that transcends short term profit margins. Critics, however, question the expansion. Some argue that the demand for these routes might be inflated or even politically motivated. The economy is slowing in China, tourism isn't fully back, and business travel is recovering at a snail's pace, one industry executive noted. Yet, for Beijing, the stakes are not just financial, they are symbolic. Increased connectivity signals resilience, strength, and a commitment to re-establishing China as a global nexus post-pandemic. As Europe's skies grow increasingly dotted with Chinese aircraft, the story is far from over. The coming years will test whether these carriers can translate their strategic advantages into sustainable gains, or if their rapid ascent will face headwinds from mounting economic pressures. One thing is certain: the battle for dominance in international air travel has shifted eastward, and the flight paths of geopolitics, economics, and ambition are now firmly intertwined.